everybody. Welcome back to another Hardcore Reads. So, it's been a little bit. You already know we are almost done with this book. If you have any book suggestions on what we should read for the book club, let me know. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with the title of this name or of the book club. We will see. But yeah, guys, so if without further ado, without much rambling, also check out my latest video. I just posted it. And yeah, thanks for all the birthday love. And yeah, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. So everybody, please go ahead and get your books. This is The 48 Laws of Power by Mr. Robert Greene. Go ahead and support the artist. He's still alive, guys. So let's go ahead and get him rich. So go ahead and get your book out and open up to page 271. We are at Law 33. It is called Discover Each Man's Thumbscrew. This is a judgment. Everyone has a weakness, a gap in the castle wall. That weakness is usually an insecurity, an uncontrollable emotion or need, and it can be a small secret pleasure. Either way, once found, it is a thumbscrew you can turn to your advantage. So let's get into it. This chapter isn't really that long anyways. So, finding the thumbscrew, a strategic plan of action. We all have resistances. We live with a perpetual armor around ourselves to defend against change and intrusive actions of friends and rivals. We would like nothing more than to be left to do things on our own way. Constantly butting up against the resistances will cost you a lot of energy. One of the most important things to realize about people, though, is that they all have weaknesses. Some part of their psychological armor that will not resist, that will bend to your will if you find it and you push on it. Some people wear their weaknesses openly, others disguise them. Those who disguise them are often the ones most effectively undone through that one chink in their armor. In planning your assault, keep these principles in mind. Also, guys, I am not restraining my hair, so yeah, it may look a little bit puffy, but I'm in Florida, so yeah, this is just how it's gonna look, and I have curly hair, so it's not gonna be bone straight. It is what it is. Don't judge. Sorry, back to what we were talking about. So in planning your assault, keep these principles in mind. Pay attention to gestures and unconscious signals. As Sigmund Freud remarked, no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. This is a critical concept in the search of people's weakness. It is revealed by seemingly unimportant gestures and passing words. The key is not only what you look for, but where and how you look. Everyday conversation supplies the richest mine of weaknesses. So train yourself to listen. Start by always seeming interested. The appearance of the sympathetic ear will spur anyone to talk. A clever trick, often used by the 19th century French statesman Talleyrand, is to appear to open up to the other person, to share a secret with them. It can be completely made up or it can be real, but of no great importance to you. The important thing is that it should seem to come from the heart. This will usually elicit a response that is not only as frank as yours, but more genuine, a response that reveals a weakness. If you suspect that someone has a particular soft spot, probe for it indirectly. If, for instance, you sense that a man has a need to be loved, openly flatter him. If he laps up your compliments, no matter, hold on.
So 15, Jenny, the goal, 20, Lorena. You, how many are you gonna do?
This month? 12.
12. All right, so update it on the board now.
Okay. I will.
And then Jonathan, leave it at 15, that's fine.
So Jenny 20,
Jenny 15, Lorena 20, you 12, Jonathan 15, and then the new girl 15.
Okay. Let me write this down, guys. Sorry, I'm still at work. Hold on. Okay, so what was it mean? So Jenny 15, Lorena 20, Jonathan 15, me 12. How many for Orlando? Okay, guys, I'm gonna look a little bit busy. Give me 5 seconds. My boss is right outside. So, how's your day? Oh, you wanna say hi to the doggy? Hi! Hi, doggy! Say hi! Oh. Ah. Oh. Hey, girl. Hey! She's like, I don't like this. Say hi. Say hi. Okay. Bye, girl. Okay. So, sorry. Where? Oh my god. My page. I just lost my page. Okay, I found it. Okay. So, where was I? Okay. This is a critical concept in the search for a person's weakness. It is revealed by seemingly unimportant gestures and passing words. The key is not only what you look for, but where and how you look. Everyday conversation supplies the richest mine of weaknesses. So train yourself to listen. Start by always seeming interested, and the appearance of the sympathetic ear will spur anyone to talk. A clever trick often used by the 19th century French statesman Talleyrand is to appear to open up to the other person, to share a secret with them. It can be completely made up or it can be real, but of great no importance to you. The important thing is that it should seem to come from the heart. This will usually elicit a response that is not only as frank as yours, but more genuine, a response that reveals a weakness. If you suspect that someone has a particular soft spot, probe for it indirectly. If, for instance, you sense that a man has a need to be loved, openly flatter him. If he laps up your compliments, no matter how obvious you are on the right track, train your eye for details. For someone tips a waiter, what delights a person, the hidden messages in clothes. Find people's idols, the things they worship and will do anything to get. Perhaps you can be the supplier of their fantasies. Remember, since we all try to hide our weaknesses, there is little to be learned from our conscious behavior. What oozes out of the little things considered our conscious control is what you want to know. Find the helpless child. Most weaknesses begin in childhood. Before the self builds up compensatory defenses, perhaps the child was pampered or indulged in a particular area, or perhaps a certain emotional need went unfulfilled as he or she grows older. The indulgence or the deficiency may be buried but never disappears. Knowing about a childhood needs gives you a powerful key to a person's weakness. One sign of this weakness is that when you touch on it, the person will often act like a child. Be on the lookout for them. Be on the lookout then for any behavior that should have been outgrown. If your victims or rivals went without something important such as parental support when they were children, supply it or its facsimile. If they reveal a secret taste, a hidden indulgence, indulge it. In either case, they will be unable to resist you. Look for contrast. An overt trait often conceals its opposite. People who thump their chests are often big cowards. A prudish exterior may hide a lascivious soul. The uptight are often screaming for adventure. The shy are dying for attention. By probing beyond appearances, you will often find people's weaknesses and the opposite of the qualities that they reveal to you. Find the weak link. Sometimes in your search for weakness, it is not what but who that matters. In today's versions of the court, there is often someone behind the scenes that has a great deal of power. a tremendous influence over the person superficially on top. These behind the scenes power brokers are the group's weak links. Win their favor and you indirectly influence the king. Alternatively, even in the group of people acting with the appearance of one's will, as when a group under attack closes ranks to resist an outsider, there is always a weak link in the chain. Find the one person who will bend under pressure. Fill the void. The two main emotional voids to fill are insecurity and unhappiness. The insecure are suckers for any kind of social validation. As for the chronically unhappy, look for the roots of their unhappiness. The insecure and unhappy are the people least able to disguise their weaknesses. The ability to fill their emotional voids is a great source of power and an indefinitely prolongable one. Feed on uncontrollable emotions. The uncontrollable emotion can be a paranoid fear, a fear of disproportionate to the situation, or any base motive such as lust, greed, vanity, or hatred. People in the grip of these emotions often cannot control themselves, and you can do the controlling for them. So let's go ahead and read the first little red story. Okay. Let me look a little bit busy. Hold on. 5 seconds, guys. Transitionary music. How's your day going? My morning has been a little bit all over the place. No kizzy. Okay. The lion, the chamos, and the fox. A lion was chasing a chamos along a valley. He had all but caught it, and with longing eyes was anticipating a certain and satisfying repast. It seemed as if it were utterly impossible for the victim to escape, for a deep ravine appeared to the bar, the way for both the hunter and the hunted. But the nimble chamos, gathering together all its strength, shot like an arrow from the bow across the chasm, and stood still on the rocky cliff on the other side. Our lion pulled up short, but at that moment a friend of his happened to be near at hand. That friend was a fox. "What," he said, "with your strength and agility, is it possible that you will yield to a feeble chamois? You have only to will, and you will be able to work wonders. Though the abyss be deep, yet if you are only in earnest, I am certain you will clear it. Surely you can confide in my disinterested friendship. I would not expose your life to danger if I were not so well aware of your strength and dexterity." The lion's blood waxed hot and began to boil in his veins. He flung himself with all his might into the space, but he could not clear the chasm. So down the tumbled headlong and was killed by the fall. Then what did his dear friend do? He cautiously made his way down to the bottom of the ravine, and there, out in the open space and free air, seeing that the lion wanted neither flattery nor obedience now, he set to work to pay his last sad rites to his dead friend, and in a month picked his bones clean. Fables by Ivan Krylov, 1768 to 1844. Okay, guys. Hold on. Yeah. Honestly, how does everybody feel? The eclipse is literally tomorrow. So everything that we saw on March 25th, like everything that you went through then, it's gonna have a little bit resurgent. Okay, so let's get into the observances of the law. Observance number 1. In 1615, the 30-year-old Bishop of Lucien was known as the Cardinal Richelieu and gave a speech before representatives of 3 estates of France, the clergy, nobility, and the commoners. Richelieu had been chosen to serve as the mouthpiece for the clergy, an immense responsibility for a man still young and not particularly well known. On all of the important issues of the day, the speech followed the church line. But near the end of Richelieu did something that had nothing to do with the church and everything to do with his career. He turned down the throne to the 15-year-old King Louis the Eighth, the 13th, and to Queen Mother Mary de Medicis, who sat beside Louis as the regent ruling France until her son reached his majority. Everyone except Richelieu to say the usual kind words to the young king. Instead, however, he looked directly at and only at the Queen Mother. Indeed, his speech ended in a long, fulsome praise of her, praise so glowing that it actually offended some in the church. But the smile on the queen's face lapped. It's like, does this side look even better? I don't know. Okay, sorry. Hold on. I'm focused. I'm not even focused today, guys. But the smile on the queen's face as she lapped up Richelieu's compliments was unforgettable. A year later, the Queen Mother appointed Richelieu Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, an incredible coup for the young bishop. He had now entered the inner circle of power, and he studied the workings of the court as if it were a machinery of a watch. An Italian Concini was the Queen Mother's favorite, or rather her lover, a role that made him perhaps the most powerful man in France. Concini was vain and foppish, and Richelieu played him perfectly, attending to him as if he were the king. Within months, Richelieu had become one of Concini's favorites. But something happened in 1617 that turned everything upside down. The young king, who up until then had shown every sign of being an idiot, had Concini murdered and his most important associates imprisoned. In so doing, Louis took command of the country with one blow, sweeping the Queen Mother aside. Had Richelieu played it wrong, he had been close to both Concini and Marie de Medicis, whose advisors and ministers were now all out of favor, some even arrested. The Queen Mother herself was shut up in the Louvre as a virtual prisoner. Richelieu wasted no time. If everyone was deserting Marie de Medicis, he would stand by her. He knew Louis could not get rid of her, for the king was still very young and had in any case always been inordinately attached to her. As Marie's only remaining powerful friend, Richelieu filled the valuable function as liaison between the king and his mother. In return, he received her protection, and was able to survive the palace coup, even to thrive. Over the next few years, the Queen Mother grew still more dependent on him. In 1622, she repaid him for his loyalty. Through the intercession of her allies in Rome, Richelieu was elevated to the powerful rank of cardinal. By 1623, King Louis was in trouble. He had no one he could trust to advise him, and although he was now a young man instead of a boy, he remained childish in spirit, and affairs to state came hard to him. Now that he had taken the throne, Marie was no longer the regent and theoretically had no power, and she still had her son's ears. And she kept telling him that Richelieu was his only possible savior. At first, Louis would have none of it. He hated the cardinal with passion, only tolerating him out of love for Marie. In the end, however, isolated in the court and crippled by his own indecisiveness, he yielded to his mother and made Richelieu his first chief counselor and later prime minister. Now Richelieu no longer needed Marie de Medicis. He stopped visiting and courting her, stopped listening to her opinions, and even argued with her and opposed her wishes. Instead, he concentrated on the king, making himself indispensable to his new master. All the previous premiers, understanding the king's childishness, had tried to keep him out of trouble. The shrewd Richelieu played him differently. deliberately pushing him into one ambitious project after another, such as the crusade against the Huguenots, and finally an extended war with Spain. The immensity of these projects only made the king more dependent on his powerful premier, the only man able to keep order in the realm. And so, for the next 18 years, Richelieu. Hey, welcome to the live. Richelieu, exploiting the king's weaknesses, governed and molded. Governed and molded France according to his own vision, unifying the country and making it a strong European power for centuries to come. So let's go ahead and interpret what I just read to you guys. So Richelieu saw everything as a military campaign, and no strategic move was more important to him than discovering his enemies' weaknesses and applying pressure to them. As early as his speech in 1615, he was looking for a weak link in the chain of power, and he saw that it was the Queen Mother. Not that Marie was obviously weak; she governed both France and her son. But Richelieu saw that she was a really insecure woman who needed constant masculine attention. Oh, thanks for the love. Who needed constant masculine attention. He showed her with the affection and respect, even toadying up to her favorite Concini. He knew that he knew the day would come when the king would take over, but also he recognized that Louis loved his mother dearly and would always remain a child in relation to her. The way to control Louis then was not by gaining his favor, which could change overnight, but by gaining sway over his mother, for whom his affection would never change. Once Richelieu had the position he desired, prime minister, he discarded the Queen Mother. Moving on to the next weakling in the chain, the king's own character. There was a part of him that would always be a helpless child in need of higher authority. It was on the foundation of the king's weakness that Richelieu established his own power and fame. Remember, when entering the court, find the weak link. The person in control is often not the king or queen, it is someone behind the scenes. The favorite, the husband or wife, even the court fool. This person may have more weaknesses than the king himself because his power depends on all kinds of capricious factors outside his control. Finally, when dealing with helpless children who cannot make decisions, play on their weakness and push them into bold ventures, they will have to depend on you even more, for you will become the adult figure whom they rely on to get out of scrapes into safety. So let's go ahead and read this second little red blurb, little red story. This is called Irving Lazar. Okay? Hollywood super agent Irving Paul Lazar was once anxious to sell studio mogul Jack L. Warner a play. I had a long meeting with him today, Lazar explained to screenwriter Garson Cannon, but I didn't mention it. I didn't even bring it up. Why not? I asked. Because I'm not going to wait until the weekend after next when I go to Palm Springs. I don't understand. You don't? I go to Palm Springs every weekend, but Warner isn't going to see this weekend. He's got a preview or something, so he's not coming down till next weekend. So that's when I'm going to bring it up. Irving, I'm more confused. Look, said Irving impatiently, I know what I'm doing. I know how to sell Warner. This is the type of material that he's uneasy with. So I have to hit him with it hard and suddenly to get an okay. But why Palm Springs? Because in Palm Springs, every day he goes to the baths at the spa, and that's where I'm going to be when he's there. Now, there's a thing about Jack. He's 80, and he's very vain, and he doesn't like people to see him naked. So when I walk up to him naked at the spa, I mean, he's naked. Well, I'm naked too. But I don't care who sees me. He does. And when I walk up to him naked and I start talking to him about this thing, he'll be very embarrassed and he'll want to get away from me. And the easiest way is to say yes, because he knows if he says no, then I'm going to stick with him and stay right on it and not going to give up. So to get rid of me, he'll probably say yes. 2 weeks later, I read of the acquisition of this particular property by Warner Brothers. I phoned Lazar and asked him how it had been accomplished. How do you think? He asked in the buff. That's how. Just the way I told you it was going to work. By Hollywood Garson Cannon in 1974. That was really cute. Okay, guys, I am gonna take a 5-second. Oh my god. Well, hey, welcome to the live. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the observance number 2. Observance number 2. Ready? In December of 1925, guests at the swankiest hotel in Palm Beach, Florida, watched with interest as a mysterious man arrived in a Rolls Royce driven by some Japanese chauffeur. Over the next few days, they studied this handsome man who walked with an elegant cane, received telegrams at awesome hours, and only engaged in the briefest of conversations. He was a count, they heard, Count Victor Lustig, and he came from one of the wealthiest families in Europe. But this was all they could find out. Imagine their amazement then when Lustig one day walked up with one of the least distinguished guests in the hotel, Mr. Herman Loller, head of the engineering company, and entered a conversation with him. Loller had made his fortune only recently, and forging social connections was very important to him. He felt honored, somewhat intimidated by the sophisticated man who spoke perfect English with a hint of foreign accent. Over the days to come, the two became friends. Loller, of course, did most of the talking, and one day he confessed that his business was doing poorly, with more troubles ahead. In return, Lustig confided in his new friend that he, too, had serious money problems. Communists had seized his family's estate and all its assets. He was too old to learn a trade and go to work. Luckily, he had found an answer, a money-making machine. You counterfeit? Lola whispered in half shock. No, Lustig replied, explaining that through a secret chemical process, this machine could duplicate any paper currency with complete accuracy. Put in a dollar bill and 6 hours later you have two, both perfect, he proceeded to explain how the machine had been smuggled out of Europe, how the Germans had developed it to undermine the British, and how it had supported the Count for several years, and on and on. When Loller insisted on its demonstration, the two men went to Lustig's room, where the Count produced a magnificent mahogany box fitted with slots, cranks, and dials. Loller watched as Lustig inserted a dollar bill in the box. Sure enough, early the following morning, hey Donkey, I'm yapping about this book. I do this series where I read this book and I share it along with you guys. It's basically like a book club. So where's your book at? Because you're supposed to be on this page with me, reading along. Anyways, where was I? When Loller insisted on a demonstration, the two men went to Lustig's room, where the Count produced a magnificent mahogany box with slots, cranks, and dials. Yes, it's this. Take a screenshot. Okay, thanks. We're on page 276, okay? Sure enough, early in the following morning, Lustig pulled out two bills and still wet from the chemicals. Lustig gave the notes to Loller, who immediately took the bills to the local bank, which accepted them as genuine. Now the businessman feverishly begged Lustig to sell him a machine. The Count explained that there was only one in existence. Pretending to work. I know, yeah, there's a lot to catch up on. But don't tell anybody I'm pretending to work. Okay. Anyways. So The Count explained that there was only one in existence, so Lola made him a high offer, $25,000, then a considerable amount. That's more than $400,000 in today's terms, and probably by the time this was written, it's probably like double that in nowadays currency with like inflation and all of that jazz. Yeah, 400K basically. That's how much that little counterfeit machine costed. Even so, Lustig seemed reluctant. He did not feel right about making his friend pay so much, yet he finally agreed to the sale. After all, he said, I suppose it matters little what you pay me. You are, after all, going to recover the amount within a few days by duplicating your own bills. Making Lola swear to never reveal the machine's existence to other people, Lustig accepted the money. Later that day, he checked out of the hotel. A year later, after many futile attempts at duplicating, Lola finally went to the police with the story of how Count Lustig had conned him with a pair of dollar bills, some chemicals, and a worthless mahogany box. Basically, he conned him, guys. Long story short. So let's go ahead and interpret what I just read to you. Count Lustig had an eagle eye for other people's weaknesses. He saw them in the smallest gesture. Lola, for example, over-tipped waitresses, seemed nervous in conversation with the concierge, talked loudly about his business. His weakness, Lustig knew, was his need for social validation and for the respect that he thought his wealth had earned him. He was also chronically insecure. I know, right? He conned all of us. Count Lustig, ugh. Man, right? I'm just kidding. People. Is that better? So, he was chronically insecure. Lustig had come to the hotel to hunt for prey. In Lola, he homed in a perfect sucker, a man hungering for someone to fill his psychic voids. In offering Lola his friendship, then Lustig knew he was offering him an immediate respect of the other guests, as Count Lustig was also offering the newly rich businessman access to his glittering world of old wealth. And for the coup de grace, he apparently owned a machine that would rescue Lola from his worries. It could even put him on par with Lustig himself, who had also used the machine to maintain his status. No wonder Lola took the bait. Remember, when searching for suckers, always look for the dissatisfied, the unhappy, the insecure. Such people are riddled with weaknesses and have needs that you can fill. Their neediness is in the groove in which you place your thumbnail and turn them at will. Oh my God, guys. Yes, just like Jay Gatsby. Exactly. But at the time, I feel like earlier back in the days, it's a little bit easier to get away with this type of stuff. Now with like technology, cameras, facial recognition, they're trying to take away the dollar and everything like that. I don't necessarily think that you would be able to like get away with conning people with the counterfeit dollar machine, right? But I think maybe back in the day, it was a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and read a little red blurb that correlates to what I just read. Let me know your thoughts, okay? So the little things count. As time went on, I came to look for the little weaknesses. It's the little things that count. On one occasion, I worked on the president of a large bank in Omaha. The phony deal involved the purchase of a street railway system of Omaha, including a bridge across the Mississippi River. My principals were supposedly German, and I had to negotiate with Berlin. While awaiting word from them, I introduced my fake mining stock proposition. Since this man was rich, I decided to play for high stakes. Meanwhile, I played golf with the banker, visited his home, and went to the theater with him and his wife. Though he showed some interest in my stock deal, he still wasn't convinced. I had built up to the point that investment was of $1.2 million was required. Of this, I was to put up $900,000 and the banker $350,000, but he still hesitated. One evening, when I was at his home for dinner, I wore some perfume, Cody's April's Violets. It was not then considered effeminate for a man to use a dash of perfume. The banker's wife thought it was very lovely. Where did you get it? It's a rare blend, I told her, especially made for me by a French perfumer. Do you like it? I love it, she replied. The following day, I went through my effects and found 2 empty bottles. Both had come from France, but were empty. I went to a downtown department store and purchased 10 ounces of Cody's April's Violets. I poured it into 2 French bottles and carefully sealed them, wrapped them in tissue paper, and that evening I dropped by the banker's home. Yeah, I have no idea. I've never even heard of this perfume before. Cody's April's Violets. I wrapped it in tissue paper. That evening, I dropped by the banker's home and presented the 2 bottles to his wife. They were especially put up for me in Cologne, I told her. The next day, the banker called me at the hotel. His wife was enraptured by the perfume. She considered it the most wonderful and most exotic fragrance she had ever used. I did not tell the banker he could get all he wanted right in Omaha. She said, the banker added, that I was fortunate to be associated with a man like you. From then on, his attitude was changed, and for he had complete faith in his wife's judgment. He parted with $350,000. This, incidentally, was my biggest con score. By Yellow Kid Wheel. 1875 to 1976. You guys remember Yellow Kid? Like, he was a part of the Wild Wild West. I didn't know he lived for 100 years. Okay, guys. So, oh my god. Okay. Hold on, let me open this. Oh, let me respond to this, guys. Yes. Oops. Yes, we do. I can get it. Okay. Oh, you think? I don't know if I really am. Oh my god. Okay. 1 second. Okay, guys. Don't tell anybody. Okay, so sorry. So, do you have an application number? Do you have an application number? Oh, with the email. Yeah, I'm supposed to go get a fax. Okay, let me, you know what? Brief intermission. Let's go get this fax number so I can look busy. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit. Let me get this really quickly. So the fax number. This is what, hey Fred, welcome to the live. Okay, let me get this fax number really quickly. We need the fax number. Okay. This is the fax machine. Let me just write this down. 3, 5. Oopsie. You hear the TV in the back. This is my work, guys. I honestly don't know if I'm like a left part or a right part person better. Be some of that. Okay. Oops. Can you guys hear the music in the back when I was like walking? Because sometimes YouTube is funny about that and they're like, oh, sorry, that was too much. Okay. So let's see. Then this is my computer. I will give you guys, maybe I should give you guys a tour next time. Okay, this is the fax number. 305 What are you guys doing? Are you not at work? Sorry. This is the outfit of the day. I honestly like just try to like, you know, it's about fashion. Like with fashion, it's not about what you wear, it's about how you wear it. You can literally like change up your outfit and like wear the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But change it up. It's like the accessories and stuff. Where are you? Oh no, this is totally not the New York Stock Exchange. Be living at Italy. Oh, that's fun. I've been to Italy like once before. He wants my email now. My email. Gmail. Okay. Ooh, that's congratulations, Fred. That's such a big deal. Well, I am happy for you. Want to be like you one day. Did you eat pizza? I did eat pizza, but I feel like the pizza that we ate, it really wasn't that good. Like, I don't know. And then there was only one pizza place that was good. What is your request? I mean, obviously for the people that have been here for the past like 6 or 7 months, I have to finish this book first, but I am open to the second book. I mean, after, of course, yeah. So, what is your suggestion for the next book? YouTube suggested your video to me. Hey, I Can Fly. Welcome to the live. Yes, we are reading. Well, we're taking a brief break, but we're reading 48 Laws of Power. Yes, I can definitely add The Great Gatsby. I honestly love going to the bookstore and buying a new book. Like, it just hits different. I have so many books that I have not finished reading, but let me write this down. Oh, let me write this down right here. Any other book suggestions outside of The Great Gatsby? The Great Gatsby. I want to have like a kind of like a book group, like a, what is it called? A book club. But I don't know. Do you guys like the name Hot Girl Reads, or do you think we should change the name to something else? Let me know. Let me know. Okay. But are you guys ready for me to continue to read? Harry Potter and the Prisoner. Harry Potter? Harry Potter? That's like 9 books. You want me to read the whole series of Harry Potter? And Winnie the Pooh. Okay, guys, these suggestions. I'm trying to have like empowering books, you know, like empowering. But Harry Potter is like low-key really long. Like each book is like 1,000 pages. You should change it to Cute Girl Reads. Yeah, the name has been a little bit controversial. Maybe I should just be like person reads this book, like, or human being reads blah blah blah. Okay, but back to what we're doing. I need some water. I can't believe it, guys. Like, I'm 24. 24. You think the title is catchy? Thanks. Because I feel like you don't, like, anybody can call themselves like a hot girl or a hot guy. Like, it's just nice to be called hot, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not like, I feel like also a lot of times when you call yourself like hot or anything like that, people automatically think it's like supposed to be, it's automatically supposed to be like super sexualized and you're supposed to be showing a lot of cleavage. But I feel like there's a bunch of different ways somebody could become like considered attractive. Okay, but anyways, I'm supposed to be reading, I guess. Well, technically I'm supposed to be working, but that's neither here or there. Okay, so Where were we? Where were we? Does anybody remember where we were in the book? Okay, I think I know where we're at. So, there. It's like I don't really feel like reading, but I'm gonna just finish this because I don't want to start something and not finish it. So let me lock in, guys. Lock in, focus, and imagine this with your beautiful, bright brain and your great imagination. I just ate a bag of Cheetos and 7 brownies. Maybe what you should do with your free time, have you cut your toenails in a while? Give up on reading for today. Oh my God. Don't. We have like, okay, it's literally like 3 more pages. Where am I from? I'll just say United States. Yeah, US. Where are you from? Your last year. I look like a gremlin. Oh, no. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna talk low about ourselves, okay? If you look like a gremlin, you know who's a freaking gremlin? Shrek. And look at him. He had a whole movie about himself. 3 to be exact. So let's not talk about that. If you're a gremlin, you're a popular one. He's an ogre. Oh. Okay. You are right. Morocco. I actually always wanted to go to Morocco. I was gonna go to Tunisia. I wanna go to Egypt. Yeah, I really wanna go. I look like a stud and have pretty blue eyes. Oh, so it's like that song by Billie Eilish. If you know, you know. If you tapped in, you tapped in. Get out me swamp donkey. Oh, get out. Oh, I know who you're talking about. If you tapped in, you tapped in. I feel like Shrek, they say if you want to learn Spanish and you want to laugh, Shrek in Spanish is like 10 out of 10 vibes, apparently. 10 out of 10. Okay. Let me hurry this up, guys, because I still technically am at work. And technically, I'm supposed to be working right now. But I'm gonna get my stuff done. I get my stuff done every freaking day because that's how a boss does it. You know what I'm saying? You're so hungover from that freak out yesterday. Boy. Oh, that's you, babes. Freak off. I figured what you were talking about. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts. I mean, you guys didn't really ask my thoughts, but my thoughts on this whole Diddy situation. All I'm gonna say is everything that's done in the dark is gonna come to light. That's all I'm gonna say. You like my nails? Like, I never get them done, and I finally got them done for once. Is it giving classy but sassy? Birkin bag me? What the heck is a freak off? I'm just gonna have to say Google that one. You're gonna go down a rabbit hole. Spend a little time on Google or TikTok, and you guys will be able to do it. Okay, so observance number 3. In the year 1559, the French king Henry II died of a jousting exhibition. His son assumed the throne, becoming Francis II. But in the background stood Henry's wife, the Queen, Catherine de Medicis, a woman who had long ago proven her skill of affairs in the state. Period. When Francis died the next year, Catherine took control of the country as a regent to her son in the next in line succession, future Charles IX, a mere 10-year-old at the time. Can you imagine becoming the king of France at 10 years old? Can you imagine that? Wow, your nails are giving me so 2019 vibes with the 2020 twist, you know, like effortlessly chic vibe with a little extra, like I've been through it vibe. Okay, the I've been through it vibes. Chill on me, bro, chill. Like, okay, not to be that girl, but You can't see my toes, but they match. The nails and the toes, they match. Okay, yes. I can fly. I will keep reading. Let me stop being distracted. The main threats to the queen's powers were Antoinette de Bourbon, king of Navarre, and his brother Louis, the powerful king of Condé, both who could have claimed the right to serve as the regent instead of Catherine, who, after all, was Italian, a foreigner. I'm Ragnar. Sorry. Okay, let me focus. Anyways, Catherine quickly appointed Antoine lieutenant general of the kingdom, a title that seemed to satisfy his ambition. It also meant that he had to remain in court, where Catherine could keep an eye on him. Her next move proved smarter still. Antoine had a notorious weakness for a young woman, so she assigned one of her most attractive maids of honor, Louis de Retout, to seduce him. Now, Antoine's intimate, Louis, reported all of his actions to Catherine. The move worked so brilliantly that Catherine assigned another of her maids to Prince Condé and thus formed in her escadron volant. How's that? Escadron volant. Oh my God, no way. Flying squadron of young girls, thus who she used to keep the unsuspecting males in her court under control. In 1572, Catherine married off her daughter, Marguerite de Valois, to Henry, the son of Antoine, the new king of Navarre, to put a family that had always struggled against her so closely to power was a dangerous move. Hi!
I got a retarded daughter.
Oh.
You seen the other one. You seen Kashava.
Uh-huh.
She took the second, she was hated, she thinking, hey, I took the shortcut, and then she goes, oh, I'm not going to take this. She didn't want to take that.
Oh, it's over there to the right, by the accounting.
Let me see you for a minute.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay. Well, my daughters, man. They need to get married.
This isn't Danielle.
That's not Danielle. That's one of the 5 I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Man, they need to get married and find their goddamn self a husband. So you pagan, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have the DD tag.
Okay, yeah. So you got to do the transfer tag, right?
No, they said I got a. This is the one they're questioning here. I have the temporary tag on the card that was on the.
This is insurance.
No, wait. This is where the temporary tag is on.
Yeah, so it expires tomorrow. So
Okay.
you know those ladies that you went to go pay last time, where you went to pay?
Yeah.
That's where they have your tag over there.
Okay, that's the place that. But I gotta wait till the bottle to put it up.
I'm not sure. They know all about that.
She said, you have your tag? And I said, yeah, I told her it was here. The tag is at my house, though.
So yeah, over there they'll be able to get you your registration. It's gonna be on the corner where the accounting department is.
Okay, so it's already.
Yeah, it's on the same building. We just go right there, take a right, and then it's gonna be the first room on the right.
It's that disabled veteran tag. Red, white, and blue.
What'd you say?
It's a disabled veteran tag. She said, don't do it until the paperwork, because I switched the cars and it was switched. Okay, I'll check it out with her again.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You got it?
No.
Get the thing out the car.
Get what out the car.
You need your walker?
Now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. No
I don't
worries.
need you to walk or nothing else. Walk.
Don't tell me to. Let's go.
See you guys later. Happy
The
October.
car running.
And then it's my birthday. Man, these
When's your
grown-ass-
birthday?
My birthday is the 14th of October.
Happy early
Yeah,
birthday.
Man, these grown ass ladies, daughters of mine, man, getting too hostile, man. I can't take it.
Oh,
I ain't
man.
telling you my business now. You be around me 5 minutes, you see how they act.
Okay. See you later.
All right.
Take care.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, back to what we're doing, guys. Okay. The move worked so brilliantly that Catherine assigned another of her maids to Prince Condé, and was thus formed the Escadron Volant, flying squadron of young girls whom she used to keep in unsuspecting males in the court under her control. In 1572, Catherine married off her daughter Margaret de Valois to Henry, the son of Antoine, and the new king of Navarre. To put a family that had always struggled against her so close to power was a dangerous move. To make sure of Henry's loyalty, she unleashed on him the loveliest member of her flying squadron, Charlotte de Beaume Sablanque, Baroness of Savas. Catherine did this even though Henry was married to the daughter. Within weeks, Margaret de Valois wrote in her memoirs, I don't know how to say this, MME, Catherine Zeta-Jones, period. De Savas so completely ensnared my husband that we no longer slept together, not even conversed. The Baroness was an excellent spy and helped her keep Henry under Catherine's thumb. When the Queen's youngest son of Duke Alencon grew so close to Henry that she feared the two might plot against her, she assigned the Baroness to him as well. The most infamous member of the flying squadron quickly seduced Alencon, and soon the two young men fought over her, and their friendship quickly ended, along with any danger of conspiracy. So, let's interpret. Aw, too bad. Right? Let's interpret what I just read, guys. Catherine had seen very early on that the sway that a mistress has over a man of power. Her own husband, Henry II, had kept one of the most infamous mistresses of them all, Diane de Poitiers. When Catherine learned from the experience that the man, like her husband, wanted to feel he could win a woman over without having to rely on his status, which he had inherited rather than earned, and such a need contained a huge blind spot. As long as the woman began the affair by acting as if she had been conquered, the man would fail to notice that as time passed, the mistress had come to hold power over him, as Diane de Poitiers did over Henry. Wow, imagine not being able to rely on your status, right? Like, oh my God, I was born with privilege, now I can't use it. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Anywho. Using it in a way to conquer and control men. All she had to do was unleash the loveliest woman in her court with flying squadron on men whom she knew had shared her husband's vulnerability. Remember, always look for passions and obsessions that cannot be controlled. The stronger the passion, the more vulnerable the person. This may seem surprising, for passionate people look strong. In fact, however, they are simply filling the stage with their theatricality, distracting people from how weak and helpless they really are. A man's need to conquer a woman's actually reveals a tremendous helplessness that has made suckers out of them for thousands of years. Look at the part of a person that is most visible: their greed, their lust, their intense fear. These are the emotions that they cannot conceal and over which they have the least control. And what people cannot control, you can control for them. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I feel like that was very thought-provoking. So let's go ahead and read another little red blurb. It's like when I did that and my boss was right there. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, freak. Okay. Ready? And while I am on the subject, there is another fact that deserves mention. It is this: a man shows his character just in the way in which he deals with trifles, for then he is off his guard. This will often afford a great opportunity for observing the boundless egoisms of man's nature and his total lack of consideration for others. And if these defects show themselves in the small things or merely in his general demeanor, you will find that they also underlie in his action in its matter of importance. Although he may disguise the fact, this is an opportunity which should not be missed. If in the little affairs of every day, the trifles of life, a man is inconsiderate and seeks only what is the advantageous or convenient to himself, to the prejudices of others' rights. If he appropriates to himself that which belongs to all alike, you may be sure there is no justice in his heart, and that he would be a scoundrel on a wholesale scale. Only that law and compulsion bind his hands. Arthur Schopenhauer, 1788 to 1860. I honestly don't have any idea what I just read right there. So if anybody would like to explain it, please be my guest. Yes, I need to start saying frick or friggin' over everything else. Okay. Do you see a difference when I put this on, or does it just look like clear? Okay. Now let's go ahead and get into observance number 4. Arabella, oh my god, that's such a cute. Really? Are you just saying that? Or you just saying that? Or you think are you just saying that? Okay. Arabella Huntington, wife of the great late 19th century railroad magnate Collis P. Huntington, came from humble origins and always struggled for social recognition among her wealthy peers. When she gave a party in her San Francisco mansion, a few of the social elite would show up. Most of them took her for gold digger, not their kind. Because of her husband's fabulous wealth, art dealers courted her, but with such condescension, they obviously saw her as an upstart. Only one man of consequence treated her differently, the dealer Joseph Devine. Most definitely. Hold on, he's coming back. Hold on, guys, pause real quick.
It
Hey.
says zero tax, she wants me to pay. County tax, you know that it's no on a disabled tag. I got that from the tag. I already got 00 on it. Just the paper was no. This is 100% veterans still not. She said I owe the county tax $83. No.
I'm not sure. I don't
No.
deal with any of that. So once the process is already complete, the tag is their whole department. I don't know nothing about
Because I got the tag on the vehicle. I got the tag already, but it don't say anything about paying taxes. The registrations, that's what count. I guess she's not gonna give me the registrations unless I get the, I got it. I'm going to the VA, and how lady you from here? We do not. And the tag is already paid for.
It is.
Yeah.
So you have to transfer it from your old car, from the
Yeah.
CHR to now the Honda.
Yeah.
You have to transfer it.
She already got that. I could see that the transfer field. She took out all that, but she said she's gonna take out the $85 for taxes.
I'm not sure. Like I said, that remember, the tag is separate from the price of the car, and so that whole department, the accounting department, they deal with the tag and they deal with the tax collector.
The transfer, I could see paying for the transfer up to the other car. The law already does about to be. Oh boy, it ain't your fault. Don't worry, I got it.
Okay.
What time they close there?
Maybe like 4 or 5.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
Okay, see you later.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Good night. Happy early birthday again.
Gotcha. Automatically, then they told me the car has, the tag is already transferred over. And
So they have to register the car from underneath the CHR, the whatever license plate that you have with that car. They have to register and transfer it over to the car that you have now.
it's already there.
No, they have to do it on their end,
Right.
and then that's what you have to pay for.
On there and $85.
Mm-hmm. And then once you have your tag, you just put it on there, and then
got
they'll.
the tag.
Yeah, but they have to transfer it, so your tag is still registered under the CHR. It's not registered under your Honda. So they,
Okay.
so they
What's
have
the THR?
the Toyota,
Toyota, okay.
the blue car you used
That
to
I-
have. Yeah, that car.
Okay. So have you paid for when you're up?
Mm-hmm.
Could I have some candy?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm all fixed up. I know one thing, I'm gonna keep that there. I ain't gonna be pissed off with no one of these so much vanillas. Riding in my car and got them little, oh boy. Females. Ooh. All right, thank you.
All right. Good night or good day, I guess.
All right, take
All
care.
right. Take care.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back there. Ah, wait till she come back.
Got Novatech on my 518 yesterday. I have no idea what that means. Got Novatech on my 518 yesterday. No more distractions, guys. I really just want to finish this chapter. Honestly, I really, I've been on live for so long. Can't believe he would really interrupt me. I know, right? Not even once, but twice. Sir, this is not my department. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about the tag, okay? That's their department. It's like, you know, when everybody just keeps throwing the blame on somebody else for the problems on somebody else, and it's not your job. Okay, back to what we're talking about. Joseph Devine. Okay, so for the first few years of Duvine's relationship with Arabella, he made no effort to sell expensive art to her. Instead, he accompanied her to fine stores, chatted endlessly about queens and princesses he knew, and on and on. Thank you. I'll tell my boss that you said that, Captain. Okay. At last, she thought, a man who treated her as equal, even a superior in high society. Meanwhile, if Duveen did not try to sell her any art, he subtly educated her in his aesthetic ideas, namely that the best art was the most expensive art. What's it called? Nice. I usually I sell used cars, so like that's a little bit more my forte. Like once people start talking about like the anatomy of a car, I'm learning. I only learned what a transmission was like 7 months ago. Oh, I don't know, Polnarev. Maybe right in front of you. Maybe not. Okay, so back to what I was talking about, guys. And after Arabella had soaked up his way of seeing things, Duveen would act as if she had exquisite taste, even though before she met him, her aesthetics had been abysmal. Where Colas Huntington died in 1900, Arabella came into fortune. She suddenly started to buy expensive paintings by Rembrandt and Velázquez, for example, and only from Duveen. Years later, Devine sold her Gainsborough Blue Boy for the highest price ever paid for a work of art at the time. An astounding purchase for a family that previously had shown very little interest in collecting. Now, let's go ahead and interpret what I just read to you guys. Joseph Duveen instantly understood Arabella Huntington and what made her tick. She wanted to feel important. At home in society, intensely insecure about her lower class background, she needed confirmation of her new social status. Devine waited. Instead of rushing into trying to persuade her to collect art, he subtly went to work on her weaknesses. He made her feel that she deserved his attention not because she was the wife of one of the wealthiest men in the world, but because of her own special character, and this completely melted her. Devine never condescended to Arabella. Rather than lecturing to her, he instilled his ideas in her indirectly. The result was one of the best and most devoted clients, and also the sale of the Blue Boy. People's need for validation and recognition, their need to feel important, is the best kind of weakness to exploit. First of all, it's almost universal. Second, exploiting is very easy. All you have to do is find ways to make other people feel better about their taste, their social standing, their intelligence, and once their fish are hooked, you can reel them in again and again. For years, you are filling a positive role, giving them what they cannot get on their own. They may never suspect that you are turning them like a thumbscrew, and if they do, they may not care because you are making them feel better about themselves, and that is worth any price. So, guys, that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. That was so nice. Let's go ahead and read a little red blurb. So this is called the Battle at Pharsalia. The Battle at Pharsalia. Okay? When the two armies, Julius Caesar and Pompey's, were come into Pharsalia and both encamped there, Pompey's thoughts ran the same way as they had done before against fighting. But those who were about him were greatly confident of success, as if they had already conquered. The cavalry especially were obstinate for fighting, being splendidly armed and bravely mounted, and valuing themselves upon the fine horses they kept and upon their own handsome persons, as also upon the advantage of their numbers. For they were 5,000 against 1,000 of Caesar's. Nor were the numbers of the infantry less disproportionate, there being 45,000 of Pompey's against 22,000 of the enemy's. The next day, whilst the infantry was thus sharply engaged in the main battle, on the flank, Pompey's horse rode up confidently and opened his cavalry's ranks very wide, that they might surround the right wing of Caesar. But before they engaged, Caesar's cohorts rushed out and attacked them, and they did not dart their javelins at a distance, nor strike them in the thighs or legs, as they usually did in close battle, but aimed for their faces. For thus Caesar had instructed them, in hopes that young gentlemen who had not known much of the battles and wounds, but came wearing their long hair in the flower of their age and height of their beauty, would be more apprehensive of such blows, not care for hazarding both a danger at the present and a blemish for the future. And so hold on, guys. Sorry, 5 seconds. Okay, and so it proved, for they were so far from bearing the stroke of the javelins, that they could not stand the sight of them, but turned about and covered their faces to secure them. Once in disorder, presently they turned about to the fly, and so most shamefully ruined all. For those who had beat them back at once outflanked the infantry, and falling on their rear, cut them into pieces. Pompey, who had commanded the other wing of the army, when he saw his cavalry thus broken and flying, was no longer himself, nor did he remember that he was Pompey the Great, but like one whom some god had deprived of his senses, retrieved to his tent without speaking a word, and there sat no expect the event till the world army was routed. The Life of Julius Caesar, Plutarch, AD 46 to 120. Hey, Ahmad. We don't know. We don't care. We're just happy that you're here. Okay, so this is going to be the last observance of the law. This is observance number 5, okay? In 1862, King William of Prussia named Otto von Bismarck Premier and Minister for Foreign Affairs. Bismarck was known for his boldness, his ambition, and his interest in strengthening the military. Since William was surrounded by liberals in his government and cabinet, politicians who already wanted to limit his powers, it was quite dangerous for him to put Bismarck in this sensitive position. You reading this book like you reading the Bible? Nah. Should I read the Bible on live? I don't know. Maybe. maybe. I'm just trying to make it like interesting for you guys because I know this is a lot of history, but you know, I'm one of those people that like to talk with my hands anyways, so you know how it is. Since William was surrounded by liberals in his government and cabinet, politicians who already wanted to limit his powers, it is quite dangerous for him to put Bismarck in the sensitive position. His wife, Queen Augusta, had tried to dissuade him, but although she usually got her way with him, this time William stuck to his guns. Only a week after becoming prime minister, Bismarck made an impromptu speech to the few dozen ministers to convince them that they needed to enlarge the army. He ended by saying, "The great question of the time will be decided, not by speeches and resolutions of majorities, but by iron and blood." His speech was immediately disseminated throughout Germany, and the Queen screamed at her husband that Bismarck was a barbaric militarist who was out to usurp control of Prussia, and that William had to fire him. The liberals in the government agreed with her. The outcry was so vehement. Talking about this book for the last month with friends, Robert is probably why I got it. Yes, honestly, this book, Robert Greene, he really put his foot in this, okay? It's a very good book, and if you sit here and you read through these lessons, it's gonna help you see when people are trying to manipulate you and when people are trying to take control of you. Like, if you read or listen, I know this live was very chaotic, but listen to the stories of when they're trying to find weaknesses in other people and see how you yourself are vulnerable about how they can get the weaknesses out of you and try to manipulate you. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason why I'm reading this book to you guys in the first place. The Queen screamed at her husband Bismarck was a barbaric militarist who was out to usurp the control of Prussia, and that William had to fire him. The liberals in the government agreed with her. The outcry was so vehement that William began to be so afraid that he would end up on the scaffold like Louis XVI of France, that if he kept Bismarck as the prime minister. Bismarck knew that he had to get to the king before it was too late. He also knew that he had blundered and should have tempered his fiery words. Yet as he contemplated his strategy, he decided not to apologize, but to do the exact opposite. Bismarck knew the king well. Oh, Ahmad, thank you. That's so sweet. In due time. So when the two men met, William predictably had been worked into a tizzy by the Queen. He reiterated his fear of being guillotined, but Bismarck only replied, "Yes, then we shall be dead. We must die sooner or later, and could there be more respectable way of dying? I should die fighting for the cause of my king and master. Your Majesty would die sealing with your own blood your royal rights granted by God's grace. Whether upon the scaffold or upon the battlefield makes no difference. To the glorious staking of the body and life on behalf of the rights granted by God's grace." On he went, appealing to William's sense of honor and his majesty of his position of the head of the army. How could the king allow people to push him around? Wasn't the honor of Germany more important than the quibbling over words? Not only did the prime minister convince the king to stand upon to both his wife and his parliament, he persuaded him to build up the army, Bismarck's goal all along. Okay, so let's go ahead and interpret that little story and what I just read to you guys. Bismarck knew that the king felt bullied by those around him. He knew that William had a military background and a deep sense of honor, and that he felt ashamed of his craveness before his wife and his government. William secretly yearned to be great and mighty king, but he dared not express his ambition because he was afraid of ending up like Louis XVI, where a show of courage often conceals a man's timidity. William's timidity concealed his need and show courage and thump his chest. Bismarck sensed the longing for glory beneath William's pacifist front, so that he played the king's insecurity about his manhood, finally pushing him into 3 wars in the creation of the German Empire. Timidity is the potent weakness to exploit. A timid soul often yearns to be their opposite, to be Napoleon's, yet they lack the inner strength. You, in essence, can become their Napoleon, pushing them into bold action that serve your needs, while also making them dependent on you. Remember, look to the opposites and never take appearances at face value. Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you. And check out my last video, guys. I just posted it yesterday. And this is about astrology. If you know me, I am actually into that. So thank you guys so much for the support and liking. Now, go ahead and close this. Imagine this, unless you are driving a car or handling heavy machinery, you know the drill, you know what's up. Let me tell you this. So imagine this. The thumbscrew. Your enemy has secrets that he guards, thoughts he will not reveal, but they come out in a way he cannot help. It is there somewhere in the groove of weakness on his head, at his heart, over his belly. Once you find the groove, put your thumb in it and turn him at will. Okay, guys? So this is the authority to the law. Find out each man's thumbscrew. 'Tis the art of setting their wills in action. It needs more skill than resolution. You must know where to get at anyone. Every volition has a special motive which varies according to taste. All men are idolaters. I don't know how to say this. Some of fame, others of self-interest, most of pleasure. Skill consists in knowing that these idols, in order to bring them into play, knowing any man's mainspring of motive, you have, as it were, the key to his will. Sorry guys, my boss is right there. Baltasar Gracian. Guys, my boss keeps walking fast. I need to finish. Okay guys, this is it. So this is a reversal to the law. If the laws that I just read to you do not work, I hate when my lip gloss does that. Looks a little better. This is the reversal to the laws. Okay guys, I'm gonna read this really fast. Playing on people's weaknesses has one significant danger. You may stir up an action you cannot control. In your games of power, you always look several steps ahead and plan accordingly, and you exploit the fact that other people are more emotional and incapable of such foresight. But when you play on their vulnerabilities, the areas over which they have least control, you can unleash emotions that will upset your plans. Push timid people into bold action and they may go too far. Answer their need for attention or recognition, and they may need more than what you want to give them. The helpless, childish element you are playing on can turn against you. The more emotional and the weakness, the greater the potential danger. Know the limits to this game then, and never carried away by your control over your victims. You are after power, not the thrill of control. Wow, guys, that was so much talking. I'm going to literally drink some water and be quiet for like a whole hour because my mouth is so tired from talking so much. Okay, I'm just gonna give you guys my thoughts really quickly and my opinion on what we just read. So obviously this last chapter was about manipulating other people and basically playing their weaknesses against them in order to get what they want. And so, like I said earlier, the main purpose of me reading this book is for people to know when other people try to put these power moves on them and try to manipulate them and try to manipulate their weaknesses against them in order to get their personal gain. So in a scenario or you see yourself vulnerable or you're the person in power and someone is trying to get to you guys, literally use the lessons that I just read in order to protect yourself. And yeah, if you want to turn on the bell notification the next time I go on live or the next time I post. Thank you guys so much for watching, and there will be some more hot girl reads or cute girl reads or something reads in the future. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in and talking to me. Bye.